I say small diameter wise, but this is a pretty healthy storm right now. The latest stats here, the wind speed 180 miles per hour, and the pressure did drop. The pressure is trying to make a run for record lowest. The lower the pressure, the stronger the storm, and it is making a run for that #1 spot, which Wilma beating that from 2005, 19 years ago. Wilma had a stronger pressure there, lower pressure, I should say. And as far as the location, it's just brushing against the Yucatan right now, and it's about 650 miles away from Tampa, southwest there. So let's get into the last 24 hours here and just see how this storm has rapidly intensified. So 24 hours ago, this is what we were looking at. Just the baby of Milton, Category 1 hurricane at that time. The pressure was 983, wind speed at 85. And then look at this. The winds doubled, the pressure got even lower, and then it made it up to that Category 5 status with no trouble. So going into the current cone here, which we will have the latest updates at 11 o'clock tonight. So that's when we will have a new cone. But unfortunately, not really the changes that we want to see as far as placement. Now, remember, this wide area here, it could make landfall here, could make landfall down there. So you don't want to focus on the cone. But something we do like to see, a little bit of some weakening upon landfall with the current forecast. Looks like it could make landfall as a Category 3. Still a major hurricane, but we'll take Category 3 over Category 5. 125 mile per hour winds. That's still not trying to downplay this because those are still very powerful winds. But again, that's what we're looking at with the latest as of 8 o'clock. But again, we will have some updates around 11 p.m. And after that, it moves across the peninsula here towards the northeast. And then it is a Category 1 likely as it pops out on the other side of the east coast there and continues its journey onward. All right, so getting into the winds, this is one of the big players here, the wind speeds. When we can start feeling the impacts of those winds, the timing has shifted on this a little bit more. We're looking at Wednesday, early Wednesday morning for those winds to really start being felt across the coast here, and then moving on from there from Wednesday afternoon into Thursday. By the way, anticipated landfall is pushed back a little bit. That still could change, but we're looking at Thursday early in the morning. We're talking just after midnight Wednesday into Thursday with the current track. We could still have some wiggles and wobbles here, but the winds, yes, we are expecting the intense winds to start up Wednesday early and move into Thursday. Things are really going to start worsening Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. As far as the wind field, this orange circle here taking up a large portion of the peninsula, basically covering it, right? Those are very strong winds, hurricane force winds. And then on the outer side of that, pretty much the entire peninsula just dealing with tropical storm force winds, and that's extending into the Carolinas as well. And Milton will continue out to the east, but those winds are being felt across the peninsula, whereas other storms like Colleen, we had it moving from south to north. This system is slicing right across the state, so that's why we keep emphasizing the winds will be an issue from coast to coast. As we look at the wind shear, this is something we do want to focus on as well, because remember, shear is something that these storms, these tropical systems do not like. It messes up their structure, basically. So as we move into Wednesday, we are encountering more shear here, and that's one of the reasons why we're anticipating the storm to weaken from that Category 5 to Category 3 status. Again, still a major hurricane at that point, but it's some weakening that will take at this point, right? Moving forward into as it makes landfall, again, it's encountering that shear, trying to tear it apart. One of the reasons, however, why we're seeing the shift in the track is due to a front that we have sinking down into our region. So depending on the timing of that front really depends on how fast or slow we start to see this push towards. You see how it kind of jumps and makes that northeasterly turn. And again, that has a lot to do with that front that's sinking in and that area low pressure that's just in the north of that. So again, it's really crucial to get these next 24, 48-hour forecast updates so you can see these little minor changes that we keep pointing out, because the little minor changes make all the difference here. We've been telling you with this storm surge, it will have the greatest impact south of where the storm makes landfall. So the storm surge has been updated for Manatee, Sarasota, Pinellas, Hillsborough counties. Now we're looking at the possibility of 10 to 15 foot surge at that highest tide. So high tide times are important, and we're going to keep you updated on that as we move throughout Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday high tide times are pretty early in the morning from what I've seen, and unfortunately we're looking at Milton to make landfall around that time as well. So that's something that's not helping us out. Hopefully we can slow this storm down and get it closer to lower tide, but that is something we will update you with as we get closer in timing here. As far as the surge moving a little bit further up to the north for Pasco and Hernando counties, we have 5 to 10 foot surge anticipated. Again, the coastal areas feeling those impacts the most. You should have those evacuation orders already. Hopefully you're watching this from a safer place. You still have time to evacuate tomorrow morning. I know the roads have really been congested, and some of you have been writing in saying it's been taking me hours to get where I need to go, but that's okay. As long as you're in a safe location, you're obeying those evacuation orders, that's something we like to hear. Make sure you have the gas. A lot of those gas stations are trying to fill up and have everybody stocked up. Moving north of that, 3 to 5 foot storm surge moving from Citrus County onward, and then the Big Bend, which really could use a break as well. 1 to 3 foot storm surge anticipated. All right, going into these watches and warnings at this point, our entire viewing area is now under that hurricane warning. We had that upgrade come in for the 5 p.m. advisory, so we've been switched over to that, and that just basically means that we're 48 hours away from those hurricane force winds. Remember, it was a hurricane watch, but now it's been upgraded to a hurricane warning, and we are anticipating that landfall come late Wednesday into early Thursday, likely closer to the overnight hours, early Thursday morning. As far as anticipated rainfall, again, north of the center of the storm, so opposite of the storm surge here, we're just talking about rain coming from the system. We do have the threat, higher threat of excessive rainfall for the areas north of where the storm is going to make center, as it's the center of its track, excuse me, onto the shore, and then as it continues its journey out to the east there. So again, this also can change, but it's been pretty consistent where we're looking at Polk County, Pinellas County, Hillsborough County, and northward of that for the most rainfall that we're looking across our area. As far as rainfall totals, we could have anywhere from 5 to 10 inches, but some spots even higher than that, 15 inches of rainfall alone. And again, don't mix this up with the surge. The surge has to do with the winds, the tide, and when the storm is making landfall, how the water is pushing on shore. So we are going to keep you posted on that. 7-day forecast here. Yes, we're going to end with this because there is a little silver lining, if you will. We have much cooler, drier conditions. Look at that, 80-degree temperatures. We haven't had those in quite some time. Lower 80-degree temperatures. That's on the way, and that will help once we do begin the cleanup process. No matter how you look at it, we are going to have the impacts of wind. We are going to have the impacts of surge. The severity of that and the location of that, you have to stay tuned to make sure you're getting these up-to-date forecasts. But again, those evacuation orders, we hope that you got your show on the road, got to your safe spot. If you have not, don't worry, you still have time to get out there, but we highly suggest you wrap everything up early tomorrow morning because there has been a lot of traffic, and we want you out there as soon as possible. Evacuation orders set for all of our coastal areas, A, B, C in some spots. Make sure you check with your county so you can get that information as well. And of course, if you ever have any questions, we're here to help you, and we thank you